Good morning, everyone, and happy Victory Tuesday. This is the October 7th meeting of the Transportation, Energy, and Utilities Committee. We'll start off with introductions. To my left, we'll give Mr. Delaney 2 seconds here to get situated.
Happy Victory Tuesday. Bill Delaney, Mayor's Office.
Brandon Russell, Council Research.
Carla Schell, Office of General Counsel.
Edward Linsky, Council Auditor's Office.
Ken Amaro, City Council, District 1.
Reginald Gaffney, Jr., District 8.
Will Lane in District 3.
Ed Carlucci, at-large, Group 4.
Good morning, Tyrona Clark Murray, District 9.
Good morning, Michael Boylan, District 6, just visiting.
All right, good morning, everyone. So we do have a couple presentations today. We're going to do those at the beginning after public comment. Just to go through the agenda, item number 1, 2025-0448, that's deferred. Item 2, 2025-0638, we'll take action on. 2025-0685, there's an amendment and we'll take action on. Item 4 is a public hearing on a closure. We'll open and close that public hearing, then take action. Item number 5, 2025-0692, we have Councilmember Boylan here for that bill. And Councilmember Boylan, I do plan just going in order of the agenda. Item number 6, 2025-0711, we will amend and move on that. And then the remainder of the 5 items are on second read. That's 2025-0731, 0735, 0736, 0737, and 0738. Public comment cards, do I have any? I have one. Mr. John Nooney, you have 2 minutes. Please speak to an item that is on the agenda. Mr. Nooney, are you out there?
Tuesday, it was late night. I'm sorry. All right. Hello. I am John J. Nooney, Jacksonville City Council Resolution 2023-0819, 8356 Bascom Road. B as in Blaze, A, attorney, S, Spielberg, Steven Spielberg, C, Craig Shoopy. That man's getting a shirt. O, Oscar, M, movie. We're making a movie. It's going to be wicked. Okay, we have Ed, Rambo Randolph, Gregory, J-Sub Grant, Todd, Red Carpet Rubin. Okay, I'll be focusing on agenda items 1, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10. Okay, I'm also seeking a TEU resolution recognizing Nooney's efforts in advancing the FINE, that's the Florida Inland Navigation District. Pat Calloway, potential land acquisition projects 158833-0000, Boylan 134059-0000, Amaro, and 137044-0000, Carrico. That would benefit all the citizens of Duval County, Jacksonville. Donnie Olton, Council on Elder Affairs. God, you're here. All right. And so anyway, let's go. Number 3, 2025-0685. That's a direct contract with JU. You got 2024-0107, 2024-0325. That's James Richardson. State of the River Doge Club Park on Pottsburg Creek. I mean, check the minutes for that one. Okay, and then we'll also be touching on 2025-0688. And that's Stephanie Birch, Renee Hunter. Okay, we'll be getting on that one. And last time, okay, we're out of time. Congratulations,
Thank you, Mr.
Jaguars.
I'd like to also recognize Councilwoman Pittman, and I believe you have someone in the audience you would like to recognize.
To the chair, thank you so very much. I'd like for Ms. Felice to come forward. We have a guest from Africa. As a part of the sister cities. Please come forward and introduce our guests we have in town.
Good morning. Okay. Good morning. I'm Felice Franklin with Jacksonville Sister Cities, and we are very excited today to have Robert Gilmer, who is here from the Nelson Mandela University. He is the choir director, and he came in and had the opportunity to go to the Jags game, his first visit to the U.S., his first visit to an NFL game, and the opportunity for there to be a win. So we are very excited to have him. He is leaving today, going back to Tampa, and then we'll be here in the States for another couple of days before going back to Nelson Mandela Bay, South Africa, which is our sister city. So thank you so much. Does he have a moment to say a word?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Also, he visited the Jacksonville Symphony. Is that right?
Yes, he arrived. Oh, we can let you talk.
Yes, thank you so much. It was an amazing experience. I really enjoy your city, beautiful city, and so much opportunities and beautiful things to see. The symphony was amazing. We had the opportunity to. We don't often have harpists in Port Elizabeth, so it was really lovely to see a big orchestra with brilliant musicians. And we also had a dinner theatre evening at Alhambra. We also saw quite a few amazing performers. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, and glad you're able to visit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up on the agenda, Mr. Card, it is all yours to talk about City Electric Vehicle Program.
Good morning, Chair, and good morning, Committee. Little did I know Richard Reichert, Director of Administrative Services. Little did I know when Eric and I started on this research for this pilot program, I wasn't a huge EV lover, didn't know a lot about them, but we did a lot of research, and I've changed my mind on that, and that's all from the data and the things that we learned along the way. I didn't know this, but in 2008, the then Mayor John Payton signed an executive order which said that we should, as a fleet, as a city, we should purchase vehicles whenever possible that are the most fuel efficient, least polluting, whenever cost and reliability are similar to traditional vehicles. And that's kind of what that's kind of where we started with this program. So one of our goals is to ensure that the city's fleet division procures, operates a fleet of vehicles that maximize the cost savings, minimizes environmental impacts, and enhances domestic energy security, fuel efficiency, and diversification. Additionally, we have to make sure that we can provide the proper vehicle for the proper department so they can carry out their mission, and which is to serve the taxpayers. Maximize efficiency and drive cost savings. That's been one of the big drivers with this. So most of the EV vehicles are either at the same price or at a lower price. And a lot of that can also vary by the rebates that manufacturers offer. So most of these ones we bought, I think 16 of the ones we bought were at a much lower price than the traditional gas-powered vehicles. In addition to that, the fueling costs, it costs about half the amount of money to fully charge a vehicle versus filling it up with gasoline. So that's one of the other benefits. And electricity is more stable. With the fueling market's more stable on the electric side than it is on the gas side because you don't get these peaks and valleys with the price fluctuations. So like I said, maximize efficiency and drive cost savings. Cost of ownership of EVs is about 8 to 9% less than a gas-powered vehicle. So if you run that savings out over a 10-year period, it's an astronomical difference between the two with the cost savings. In addition to that, it's a quicker turnaround time for mandatory yearly safeties that we do at Fleet. So we're able to get these vehicles in. We're able to get them in and out quicker, which improves the efficiency in the field, less downtime, which leads to more productivity for our city employees. Like I said, maximize efficiency and drive cost savings. Planning and Development funded these chargers through one of their funds that they use for money they get from the state. So there was no impact to the general fund. And just to give you a quick summary of how we charge. So the EJ Ward system is what we use currently for all of our fueling at our city fuel sites. You have a fob, you pull up, you tap it on the monitor, and basically it kicks on your vehicle. They look like this. So it kicks on the pump. You're able to fuel. We track your mileage. We track all the data. We track how much time you're on. In the EV side, we track how much time it takes to charge, what the kilowatt hours are, et cetera, and all that. And we do all that through the EJ Ward software. Another benefit with the EV is this will increase the amount of work employees will be able to get done during a workday and be more productive. One of the things we're hoping to do, and I know there's a lot of questions with the auditors and things hoops we got to jump through. Potentially, we could have employees charge the vehicle at home, leave from the house every day and start their work doing inspections and so forth, and never have to go fuel up anywhere, and which would increase the productivity throughout the work week. So every day they would leave the house basically with a full tank of gas or full charge. So some of the additional benefits from operating EVs. The big one for me is zero emissions. Even as clean as a gas-powered vehicle is today, they still put out carcinogens and things that are not good to breathe in. So with the vehicle market today, somewhere around 20% of vehicles are currently being sold are EV vehicles. So if we can identify a certain percentage of those to get them off the streets, and Eric and I's opinion, we've cleaned the air up a little bit here in the city of Jacksonville. I already went over some of this, but I'll go over it again. How will this work? Fleet will provide the charger access to the EJ Ward system. Users will have a key fob, which I showed you a minute ago. The system reports on all the charging data, et cetera, and it'll identify, like I said, all the details in there, what the cost is and how many kilowatt hours, et cetera. So how do we get here? I guess it was about a year and a half ago, Josh Gideon, when he was still with the city and with planning, he came to us and wanted to do this project. And so we sat down with him and Eric and the whole team and said, hey, let's identify some vehicles that are low risk and ones that do about 50 to 100 miles a day, which is what we did. And we came up with 18 vehicles. Is that right that we bought, Eric? So we identified 18 vehicles that were low risk, that were that fit this criteria, and those were the 18 that we purchased. Current status of the project. So currently, we are charging through a third-party app, which is ChargePoint, which also piggybacks onto other charging sites around town. There's plenty of charger access around town, so there's not any issue there. So currently, that's what we're doing. Work should commence very soon. Y'all have approved the dollars, and we're just waiting for a PO to get cut. And as soon as that happens, we're looking at a 4 to 6 month timeline for the infrastructure to go in place around the different city sites that we picked out. The biggest benefit on our city charger sites is that right now, currently, it's about 40 cents per kilowatt hour to charge a vehicle at a third-party site. That gets reduced down. I think JA charges about 7 cents per kilowatt hour. So once we put on our own chargers, once we buy additional vehicles and start using them, that price will get spread out and it'll get reduced, and the cost savings will increase. So I promised you I'd be brief. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Reichert. And just a reminder, the reason we're having this presentation is a few weeks or a few cycles ago, we approved funding for these charging stations, and a few questions came up. And so I appreciate y'all circling back and closing the loop on this. Councilmember Amar, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just two quick questions for Eric. Can you expound a little bit more as to how going to EV vehicles increases work productivity, number one? And number two, at what time in the foreseeable future do you see a almost complete transformation of the city fleet to EV? I don't believe every vehicle will be able to be replaced, but to get to that point, what's the timeline? But first, the question about increased work productivity.
Eric Preacher, Chief of Fleet Management, through the chair to Councilman Amaro. Yeah, many of the vehicles that we chose, if not all of them, are inspectors for the Building Inspection Division. Okay, so these people go out, look at individual homes, job sites, and that thing every day. And part of what they're able to do with the gasoline vehicles is to take them home, leave from the house, and go straight to the job sites instead of coming into a city facility. The electric, if in the future, sometimes we can get chargers into the house and get through all the hurdles that we need to accomplish something like that, those guys will still be able to do so and go straight there without and never go to a fuel site. You know, it's still going to take 15, 20 minutes to charge a vehicle at any of the electric charging stations. And if they're able to bypass doing that at all, then they're going to see quite a bit of efficiency increase on that. Correct. Okay. And as to your second question, sir, the overall change to the fleet will all depend on technology, what's available, and what fits the fleet. I don't know that we're able to get all of the fleet. We got about 4,300 vehicles inside the city, with about 800 of those being non-emergency vehicles. So those are the ones that are the lowest risk and the easiest to convert. And as the technology increases with a lot of the larger vehicles, the heavier trucks, off-road equipment, that kind of thing, there will be a lot more opportunities there. But right now, I'd say over the next few years, you'll be able to see more of the general government vehicles that don't do high mileage, which is the majority of the general government vehicles. So, 3 to 4 years, I see, a much larger percentage based on the results of this test.
Councilwoman Pittman.
Morning. Thank you, Councilman O'Mara, for asking both of those questions, because they were one of mine. But my next question, well, actually, we have two more questions. Do you see other cities utilizing the EV, excuse me, vehicles, which is one, and what are the pros? You just talked about all of the great things, but what are some of the challenges that you think we may have with this, and what's the life expectancy of the vehicles?
So one of the other pros, well, first, I like to think Jacksonville always moves at the right pace. We're not out, we're kind of right where we need to be. We don't want to be the one that learns through all of the mistakes that some of the other cities may have made, trying to figure out this program. Yes, most of the other big cities in Florida are already doing a lot with EV vehicles. What was your other question? I'm sorry.
The life expectancy of vehicles.
So these have a great warranty on them. There's nothing to fix on them. I mean, we'll bring them in once a year and put wiper blades on them and put tires on them. There's no maintenance other than that. They will stay out of the shop. They'll stay in service longer. And with battery technology changing daily, we should get 10 years out of these before having any battery issues. But I would like to think in the next 5 to 6, 7 years that technology is going to change and probably get cheaper, probably going to last longer. So it may give us some opportunities to actually extend the life of these vehicles with the battery replacement versus having to replace the transmission and the motor and all the other mechanical parts that's in a gas vehicle. So long term, I think we'll be in better shape.
And do you feel that at a certain point you'll say we'll have X amount of electrical vehicles and we'll keep a certain amount of gas vehicles?
Yes. Okay. I do. Like to Eric's point, we're never probably ever going to get to 100%, but we need to focus on those vehicles, like Eric was saying, with the planning, development, the non-emergency, the 800 vehicles that we have. That's our main focus right now. The diversification of the fleet. You know, we have CNG stuff. So now we'll have some EV stuff. We'll have gas. We'll have diesel. So I think the diversification of the fleet is probably the most important thing.
No other speakers in the queue. I did have one final question. So as far as what's next, we're going to get these, I guess, the city-owned charging systems in the ground. They're going to be used to charge these 18 vehicles. I guess at some point you'll decide, okay, well, now we want to switch more to EV in next year's CIP submission for vehicles in the budget, or is, just kind of tell me what the next step is after we evaluate through the next couple of months.
On the vehicle side itself, yeah, we'll look at the vehicle replacement this year and see which vehicles that we can identify, much like we did with this pilot program, vehicles that we could purchase that are low risk that fit that criteria, and then hopefully long term down the road at some point we'll need to invest in some chargers ourselves. I think also for our own city stuff, in addition to the ones that we're buying through planning and development money. And hopefully there'll be some grants. There was some grants initially a couple years ago, and a lot of that got pulled back. But hopefully we can do that and put some more charging around town for the public.
And my understanding is we're able to use the building inspection fund for these chargers. I believe that's the fund. Okay, and that's always a topic of conversation, right? Because we're very limited in what we can use. I believe it's $50 million roughly we have in that fund that has very limited uses. So that was not general fund funded; it was building inspection fund funded.
Yes,
Councilmember Morrow for the second time.
Just a quick comment, sir. I can't wait for you guys to get this into the ground because I'm looking at the numbers that you cited a second ago, Richard. Open market, 40 cents per kWh, JEA, 7 cents. Oh my gosh. I mean, that's like a no-brainer. I mean, if we that significant savings there.
Yeah, so I'll be quick, I promise. We did the math. So if we're able to find a way to let our employees charge at home and reimburse them for it, within about 3 or 4 months, it would pay for the installation. All it would be paid for itself by the cost savings between the kilowatt hours and what you're paying a third party. So it's all positive.
Great. All right, no other speakers. Thank you for your time, and thank you for closing the loop on that. Councilman Carlucci.
Thank you. I've been listening while I've been doing some other work, but I want to thank Richard Reichert for the job he's doing. I haven't had a chance to say this, what I wanted to say for a long time, but I'm so glad you're in the position that you're in, and I've known Mr. Reichert for a long time, and just keep doing the great work that you're doing. And I just want you to know how much I appreciate it, and your colleague there, and you're on the cutting edge of the future, and I know you probably enjoy that, and I wish you continued success. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you, gentlemen. Next up, we have our Emerald Trail presentation, and I believe, Ms. Greer, you're going to kick it off, and we're going to give you 15 minutes for this presentation. And colleagues, if you go to presentation mode, there is a PowerPoint.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, and also happy Victory Tuesday. My name is Greer Johnson-Gillis. I am the Senior Vice President and Chief Infrastructure and Development Officer for the Jacksonville Transportation Authority. And on behalf of our CEO, Nat Ford, I am pleased to present an update on the JTA segments of the Emerald Trail. The JTA is a partner with Groundwork Jacksonville and the City of Jacksonville as we deliver on the 5 segments of the Emerald Trail program. With me today is Kay Ehas, CEO of Groundwork Jacksonville, and also Nina Sickler, Director of Public Works for the City of Jacksonville. Together, we are committed to moving forward this transformational project to completion. Today, I am here to present to you the status of segments 3, 4, 6, 7, and 8. Those are the segments under the JTA's purview. We will also discuss the primary focus areas for fiscal year 26 and beyond. We will also discuss the delivery timelines as well as potential funding strategies. But first, I'd like to share with you our accomplishments, our joint accomplishments that occurred in fiscal year 2025. In 2025, we focused on engagement, execution, and overall program management. We followed the action plan for segment delivery based on feedback that we received from the American Council of Engineering Companies. We went to the industry, and the industry helped us to develop our delivery plan. We also coordinated with key stakeholders, the Florida Department of Transportation, JEA, CSX, and Norfolk Southern, to proactively manage risk and gain support for all of the trail alignments. We completed the PD&E and 30% design for segment 3 and developed the design RFP package for 100% design. For segments 4, 6, 7, and 8, we kicked off the PD&E, the project development and environmental phase, and the conceptual design. Throughout the year, we maintained the program federal grant eligibility to align with the then current as well as the future grant requirements. And then stakeholder coordination and public engagement. They were critical to the success of the project, and we wanted to make sure that we went out and cultivated a strong foundation of public support and enthusiasm for these trail segments. And if I have the opportunity to elaborate even more, community and stakeholder engagement was so important, so critical. Groundwork Jacksonville felt that this needed to be the priority for fiscal year 25. So as such, we held 5 community meetings this year. We will culminate with the all segments community meeting that will occur next month, November, at Florida State College in Jacksonville. We had numerous community walks in all of the segment locations and making sure that we reached out to all the community members in all of the neighborhoods. We gathered firsthand insights that directly informed our planning approach so that we could align their priorities and their desires with the alignments of the trail, especially as we went through the community and the environmental process. We engaged over 300 residents and stakeholders across the entire city by means of these community outreach. And on top of that, we made sure to get with key stakeholders like FDOT and CSX and Norfolk Southern. They actually will have impacts on many of the areas around the segments, and we needed to make sure that we got their consensus as well as their commitment to help us to move the project forward. Looking ahead to fiscal year 26, we'll continue to closely collaborate with stakeholders, and we will continue our engagement with the community. Segment 3, we are moving towards design for segment 3, and the request for proposals will be released this quarter. The design work will kick off later in calendar year 26. For segment 4, we also are preparing the design procurement for that effort. Once we complete the PD&E process for segments 4, 6, 7, and 8, we will move forward with segment 4 design, which will be released next year in 2026. We will continue to secure the necessary environmental approvals to maintain federal grant eligibility and ensure regulatory compliance. And we will solidify our approach for funding segments 6, 7, and 8. Considering the changes in funding with the rescission of the $147 million federal grant, we have committed to moving forward with segment 3, the Riverside Link, and segment 4, the S-Line connector, using local option gas tax funding. These segments can be delivered by 2031. The delivery schedule for segments 6, 7, and 8 remains to be determined as we work to solidify the funding strategy, which I will go into later on in this presentation. Regardless of the pivot that we currently face, the JTA, the City of Jacksonville, and Groundwork Jacksonville are committed to moving forward and delivering on the Emerald Trail project. And just to reemphasize, Considering the funding transition, we're moving forward with segments 3 and 4, which you see in the green boxes. And we will use the local option gas tax funding to complete the design, engineering, and construction for those segments. What you see in the yellow boxes are the later phases for segments 6, 7, and 8. And we are looking at funding from a combination of sources, including local option gas tax funding, state grants, federal grants, and even considering a possible federal loan program. So here is our near-term delivery timeline. As I mentioned earlier, we are currently in the process for the PD&E, Project Development and Environmental Phases, for segments 4, 6, 7, and 8, which will conclude in early 2026. This sets us up for these segments to have environmental clearances and places these segments in an ideal position for federal funding, state funding, as well as environmental clearance, because these are key components for any federal funding requirements. Segment 3 will begin design in early as 2026. Construction would likely begin in 2027 and last for 2 years. Segment 4, we will begin design in mid-2026 with construction commencing in 2028, and we estimate 16 months for construction, as this is a shorter segment in comparison to segment 3. Segment 4 is projected to run on a longer timeline as compared to segment 3, as you notice on the screen, simply because we need to do railroad coordination. This segment has 3 crossings with CSX and Norfolk Southern, so it will require coordination with both of those entities as we move forward, not only in design, obtaining approvals, but also into construction. And with regards to local option gas tax funding, we are going to use proceeds from the local option gas tax to fully fund the design, engineering, and construction for segments 3 and segments 4. As you can see here, we will spend approximately $41 million over the next 5 years to complete those 2 segments using the LOGT proceeds. Because we are prioritizing segments 3 and segments 4 with the LOGT funding, that means segments 6, 7, and 8 will be deferred until a future funding becomes available. And one thing to mention, just as a reminder, with regards to the local option gas tax program, thank you, City Council, because you allocated $132 million for the entire program for segments 3, 4, 6, 7, and 8. That funding will come over a 30-year time period. So we're using the available proceeds that we have now to be able to move forward and prioritize segments 3 and segments 4. And that is why for segments 6, 7, and 8, we will be looking for additional funding sources to be able to move those projects up sooner than waiting for the 30 years for all of the proceeds to come and be accumulated. We want to make sure that we deliver to the community Emerald Trail a lot sooner than the 30-year time frame on the local option gas tax proceeds. Now, with regards to the funding strategies for segments 6, 7, and 8, we are considering potential funding opportunities that you see here on the screen, a variety of different sources that we want to combine with the local option gas tax funding to serve as a strong local match. These are potential opportunities, not guarantees, but opportunities that we will be pursuing for not just one segment, but even a combination of the segments. So we're looking at federal opportunities from the U.S. Department of Transportation, discretionary federal grants, such as the BUILD grant program, as well as the TIFIA program, which is a federal loan program that is usually used for major complex infrastructure projects. But the recent administration changes does now make allowances for projects that shows economic impact, such as a transformative trail program. We are also looking to the state, Florida Department of Transportation, with their Sun Trail program, as well as their Safe Routes to School program. We see some synergies between the Emerald Trail program and these two funding programs for the state. So we'll be looking at those options as well. The JTA will collaborate with Groundwork Jacksonville and the city on these potential strategies, determining the appropriate program to pursue for each one of the segments, as well as the segments as a whole. And we all look forward to returning to the City Council and sharing with you what that final funding strategy will be. With that, allow me to close by saying that with the loss of the federal grant, it was a setback for all of us, the JTA, the City of Jacksonville, and Groundwork Jacksonville, but it has not slowed our progress. We are actively pursuing new funding opportunities, exploring innovative strategies, and as you saw earlier, we have developed a plan to move forward with the two critical links to the Emerald Trail, segments 3 and segments 4. Together with our partnerships, we are committed to moving forward and delivering the Emerald Trail to the community and standing on our commitment to deliver the infrastructure that's needed to transform the lives of the residents of Jacksonville. And so with that, that concludes my presentation. We are happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gillis, and I appreciate you, everyone at JTA and Groundwork Jacksonville, for the work you put into this. Obviously, this has been a very top-of-mind subject for us. We lost a big grant, so just want to know what the path forward of this was. So this answered a lot of our questions. A few speakers in the queue, and then I have a few questions at the end. Councilmember Carlucci, you're recognized.
Good morning. Thank you for your determination. I'm glad the local gas tax is being used, not having any problems obtaining that, and y'all got a good working relationship, sounds like, with the JTA, so that's a good thing. So to me, 6, 7, and 8 is where kind of the question mark is on the funding side. And 6, 7, and 8, really, to me and to my colleagues here, is one of the most important pieces of the puzzle, at least as far as transforming a urban core area that can be that can feel the effects of the change of the urban area with this trail, because the trail doesn't just create a trail; it also brings opportunities on the sides of the trail. It clears out oftentimes a lot of sidewalks that are not used because they've been overgrown and so forth. So I think it's real important. And so you're looking for some grants for 6, 7, and 8. Is that what you're doing?
Through the chair to Councilmember Carlucci, yes, sir. We're looking at grants. We're also considering a potential loan opportunity, a federal loan opportunity.
Federal loan. Okay. How many people are using the Emerald Trail right now, in terms of it not being complete? But is there one continuous part that's put together, and how many people are using it?
Through the chair to Councilmember Carlucci, I would like for CEO Ehas to be able to answer that question for you.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning. Kay Ehouse, CEO, Groundwork Jacksonville. On September 27th, there were over 800 runners and walkers using the Emerald Trail for our 6th annual 5K race. So we are working with the FDOT to get a counter on the La Villa link, so we don't currently have a counter to be able to track that. So stay tuned.
How long is that?
That is 1.3 miles, but it's connected to the Southern S line, so that's another mile. And then once we do segment 4, you'll have a continuous 6-mile segment.
Okay. Where's that Southern line go to?
It goes to Emmett Reed, up to Emmett Reed. Wait, no, it goes up to Boulevard and 12th.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you know of any funding coming from the city or?
Well, the city has funding for the other half of the trail that is with Groundwork in the city. The city has funding for segment Hogan's Creek Trail right now. As you know, Hogan's Creek and McCoy's Creek restoration is part of that because that will give us 6 miles of trail. And Groundwork Jacksonville brought almost $9 million to design Hogan's Creek restoration, and we're at 60% right now.
Okay. And I'm going to wrap up here in just a second. But the McCoy's Creek, I tell you, that was so great to see that coming together. How much more is needed on McCoy's Creek?
So we are going to break ground on the 1 mile headwater section in December for that construction project. The city is going to be putting out for bid trail and recreation construction for phase 1 between King and I-95. And then that 1 mile section will be totally finished. And then the city is finalizing the design through Brooklyn, and that will be finished within another year.
Okay. So McCoy's Creek is the new channel and everything that we're doing with it. Is that going to mitigate the flooding issues?
Major flood reduction. As soon as the segment 1 between, again, King Street and I-95 was underway, the flooding stopped.
Okay.
So it's a major flood reduction. And opening up the creek near the river reduces upstream flooding in Brooklyn as well.
So some of my colleagues will know this well, but some may not. But the flooding of McCoy's Creek has actually drowned people in their cars. It's been a humongous problem, and that's why anything that comes up from McCoy's Creek, I want it always to be voted as an emergency, because it's been a problem for forever, since I've been on the council back in 1987 when I was just a child. And so that is great news. And I'm going to part with this one last comment to my colleagues here. I hope as we go forth in budget years, I know there's a lot of pressure coming from the state and whoever else to cut taxes and all of that. And I know we should be good stewards of our money, but we got to be good visionaries of our city. And this is one of our great visionary projects. And what this will do for neighborhoods that have been waiting for such a long time for drainage improvements, like the folks at the McCoy's Creek area, we cannot lose sight of what this will do for our inner core and people that have been waiting for things like this for so long. And I just don't want us to be a penny wise and a pound foolish. So let's all try to always support this Emerald Trail. With the little bit of time I got left up here, I'm going to keep pounding my fist on it. I get so tired of these funding opportunities going away. So I think we need to be investing from our own city budget. Thank you.
Councilwoman Pittman.
Chair, and to both of you, thank you all so much for giving us a update this morning. But I got to tell you, I'm a little bit saddened and disappointed that we didn't get our $147 million. And of course, it always affects the communities that has disparities. And so as you all go forward, I probably won't be sitting here at the time when you all get some money, but I'm hoping that it's intentional to make sure those communities get what's deserved. So many of them were looking forward, because not only does it help it from an economic standpoint, but it raises their property value. It brings people to the community from a historical aspect of our community, and that's where a lot of our history is. And so I know when I was in District 8, I was really, really looking forward to that. But now I'm in District 10, which it covers a little bit on the east side, and I look forward to working with my colleague Jimmy on this. But and not just for you all, I'm talking about all departments when it comes to urban core. And Councilman Carlucci, you brought that up. I really appreciate that, because a lot of the people, they get excited when you say something is coming to their community, and then of course funding is always taken back. So I'm looking forward to hearing and you all seeking money for the potential funding. We all know what the landscape looks like right now, and it's not really good. And so we're hopeful in that aspect. But, my 2 cents is to make sure that you don't forget about the little people, because they're not at the table. They're looking for us. Kate, and I know you'll do all you can while you can, but I just want to make sure that I put this on record, that, folks are sick and tired of being left out. Okay, thank you.
I can't tell you how committed we are to making sure that doesn't happen.
Thank you. The final speaker before I ask a question, I was just informed we have a special committee meeting in here at 11. So we only have 5 action items after this that have all gone through other committees already. So I think we're going to move fast, but just wanted to share that news. Councilmember Boylan, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through the chair, first of all, a question for the young lady from JTA. You heard a presentation this morning about the commitment on the part of the city to go after electric vehicles. I happened to buy one myself, a plug-in hybrid 5 months ago, and I can tell you I filled it up probably 3 times, and only because I took a trip to North Carolina. It's been a couple of years since we increased the local option gas tax. Have you changed the projections of what the revenue is going to be looking like in the future with the prospect of more people going to EV or plug-in?
Through the chair to Councilmember Boylan, the projections are still remaining the same. In our original projections, sir, we did account for the transition from automobiles with gasoline to electric vehicles. And so that still was included in our original projections, and we still are projecting.
So you think it's still on track, your projection from 2 years ago? For Ms. Ehas, a couple of questions real quick. I remember a couple of years ago now a presentation about the Atlanta efforts and the conversation around gentrification. And I think we just heard a little bit about that from Ms. Pittman with respect to, so what are we doing to protect the local homeowners and maintaining those properties, retaining those properties?
So we started a home repair program in the McCoys Creek neighborhoods, and we've repaired 39 homes so far, and we have funding to do 12 more, because that's how you keep people in their homes, right? You give them a good quality of life, and then they're not susceptible to selling in a cheap way. We are partnering with United Way and LISC to put home repair programs in each one of the Emerald Trail neighborhoods, because that is, not only is it a cost-effective way to prevent displacement, but it's not hard to do. And they're neighborhood-based programs. The other thing is that we've been working with the Jacksonville Land Trust to, as properties become available, to take those properties, residential parcels that are near or along the trail, to keep them affordable. The issue in these neighborhoods is that more than 50% of the single-family homes are rental property.
Right.
That is the bigger conundrum about how you.
And I think it's really important. I appreciate the conversation about the trails themselves, but the neighbors we need to be focused on. And last but not least, and I know this is already in place, but maybe you want to give us an update, Ms. Ehas, on the ongoing maintenance of these trails and the program that you have in place to address that. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
So we are in the process of developing a long-term agreement with the city to maintain, program, and activate the trail. So at some point that legislation will be coming before you, and we hope you will look kindly on that. Our goal is to have a 50-50 split for the cost, 50% city, 50% private. We're going to approach it in 2 ways. We have a stewardship team now. We're working with the city to take on the La Villa Link. We'll be able to do Hogan Street as well, and we're currently doing a part of the S-Line Rail Trail. And we anticipate having our own maintenance team or horticulture team that is primarily staffed with folks that live in the urban core neighborhoods. That's our goal. And also supplement that with volunteers.
Thank you. So a couple questions I had. So we talked a lot about segments 3, 4, 6, 7, and 8. Are there any other segments that are not funded? Because I know trying to match up here on the handout versus the presentation, I think we got 10 separate segments, but are these 5 the last remaining that are either not completed or not fully funded?
So currently, segment 2, Hogan Street, which we just broke ground on, is funded from Water Street to Union, but it actually goes from Union Street to Hogan's Creek on Laura. That part is not funded currently. Groundwork Jacksonville is going to look at, can we fund the design of that, finish that design if the city can do construction? And then what I would say is the city has money for the Hogan's Creek Trail, but we're going to need $143 million to construct the Hogan's Creek Restoration Project. And that design will be completed in September of next year. We were really hoping to go after a federal brick grant, but the Trump administration got rid of that grant, which would pay 75% of a project, because I think the city's going to absolutely need federal and state money to get that project done.
Right. And so that's a good lead into another thing, just to make sure I'm following everything correctly. So kind of the cliff notes is segments 3 and 4, we can finish by 2030 using local option gas tax money only. Segment 6, 7, and 8, we're not really spending a lot of money on design yet. We're spending the next year or so working on what the funding strategy will be, and then you'll come back to us. The other question I had is one of the slides that said federal loan. Can you just elaborate on what a federal loan would be? I guess my question is this a loan the city would then be on the hook for paying back potentially?
Mr. Chairman, this would be a federal loan that ultimately the JTA would be paying back over a period of time, over the 30 years. And it's a low interest loan that the U.S. Department of Transportation provides through this program for critical infrastructure projects that really promote economic impact, safety, accessibility. And we feel that the trail would be a viable candidate for such a loan program.
Thank you. Thank you again. Thank you very much for coming out here, updating us, and we look forward to getting another update and hearing about the future funding strategy as well. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so to the committee, we're going to go back to the top of the agenda, and I will point out that just for those watching or in the audience, every bill we have has gone through a committee already, so a lot of us, if we're not on the committee, we've watched the committee, we've asked questions ahead of time, so just wanted to put that out there in case you're wondering why there may not be a lot of questions on these. Item 1, 2025-0448 is deferred. Item 2, 2025-0638, can I get a motion? I got a motion second on the bill. I have no in the queue. Open ballot, record your vote. It was 5th week. We're all out of practice. It's all right. I'd also like to officially recognize Councilmember Johnson for being here. Yes. Go ahead.
I was watching on the way. Thank you so much for recognizing me, Mr. Chair. I also thank you, Councilwoman Pittman, through the chair, for recognizing our team from our sister city in South Africa. Siakwa Mokela and Kunjani, to our friend, welcome. I look forward to visiting with you afterward. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yep.
I could take this time to say happy birthday to one of my constituents. He turned 26 last night and had to work real late, but he did a good job.
You know who that is. Sure, he don't like that to do that fall again.
Shout outs to Kill Time here.
He's your neighbor.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
By our actions, we have passed 2025-0638. Item 3, 2025-0685. Can I get a motion on the amendment? Move it. Got a motion is second. Mr. Linsky, could you please explain it?
Through the chair to the committee, the amendment is predominantly technical in nature. It includes reflecting a 25-26 appropriation and then removing the carryover, updating the Chapter 118 waiver language and attaching the required affidavit, reflecting an October delivery date for the 18th State of the River Report, and then also fixing various inconsistencies in both the bill and the agreement.
And I will note, it is my understanding we've had a similar bill 18 years in a row now. Known in the queue, all those for the amendment, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Amendment passes. Got a motion and a second on the bill. Ms. Pittman, you're recognized.
Is Mr. Richardson here? I need to put my glasses on. Good morning.
Morning. James Richardson, Environmental Protection Board.
Can you tell me about the direct contract with Jacksonville University? What is that for?
Yes, through the chair. The board does not put out funding availability, if you will, so people come to us with projects. Typically, when that happens, we engage in a direct contract directly with them. We have done this with the State of the River report for the past 18 years. JU, the past, I think, 5 as the principal investigator. Before that, it was UNF. But that's the reason for the direct contract. When people bring a project to us, we typically do a direct contract directly with the entity.
Okay. So is that with the River Keeper as
No,
well?
this-
With them doing that partnership, is this just JU by itself?
Through the chair, this is a scientific report, if you will. So it's with JU as the principal investigator. It's a consortium of JU, UNF, and college in Pennsylvania. I'm sorry, I cannot recall the name off the top of my head.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And also the key, open the ballot, record your vote. Uh-oh.
Seven yeas, zero nays.
Fire actions, we have approved Bill 2025-0685. Item 4, 2025-0688. I will open the public hearing. I have one speaker card, Mr. John Nooney. Mr. Nooney, you may have heard me mention, we have an 11 o'clock hard stop. This is far away from Pottsburg Creek, so please speak directly to this or you will be cut off.
Well, again, happy Victory Tuesday. I am, okay, good. I got 3 minutes because it's a public hearing. All right, I am John J. Nooney, Jacksonville City Council Resolution 2023-0819, 8356 Bascom Road, B as in billionaires, A, automobiles, S,
Mr. Nooney, get to the bill in question, please.
Spielberg. Well, I will be. C, charging station. O, Oscar M movie. We're making a movie. It's going to be wicked. And yeah, we've got Ed Rambo Randolph, Gregory, J. Seb Grant, Todd, Red Carpet Rubin, Richard, Sparky Reichard. And, you know, the legislation, the public hearing. And, you know, I've got 2 minutes, and I'm going to set it up because I will be speaking to the legislation. But I'm also seeking a resolution recognizing a TEU resolution.
Mr. Nooney, get on the bill now, please, or we will cut you off.
Oh, okay, all right, number 4.
This is your last warning.
All right, well, okay, it's a public hearing. It's 2025-0688. Ordinance closing, abandoning, or disclaiming an open and unimproved portion of an unnamed right-of-way as recorded in Plat Book 3, page 51, Plat of Jacks Heights, north half of town site of the current public records of Duval County, Florida, located in Council District 9 at the request of Joseph and Emily Latchman, subject to reservation unto the city of a non-exclusive all utilities, facilities, and access easement over the closure area. Provide for approval, subject to conditions. Wilson, request of the mayor. Now, in all previous, okay, I'm just down to a minute. You know, what happened to real estate numbers? You've got 3 others that are going to be agenda items 8, 9, and 10. And the point I'm getting at, and this is evidence, but ask Renee Hunter, Stephanie Birch, is this going to be going forward to start to go over and look up this stuff as opposed to here's the real estate number? That's huge. I'm down to 29 seconds. I have no idea where this is, but the next TEU, these three are on second. It's 2025-0735, 2025-0736, and then you got one more, 2025-0737. But just ask, what happened to real estate numbers? Are we going to have to start looking at all the plat stuff?
Thank you, Mr. Nooney. No more speaker
Thank you
cards.
for
This
listening.
public hearing is closed. I have no one in the queue. Ms. Clark-Murray, you may say what I was going to say. Okay, you're recognized.
Thank you for that. To Ms. Hunter, or perhaps that is, oh, I'm sorry, through the chair to Ms. Shell now? Okay, you really threw me off with the new name card. Oh, well, congratulations. Yeah, okay, congratulations. So to either one of you, in regards to the question that Mr. Nooney asked, in regards to the real estate number being a part of perhaps the description or the legislation, if you can address his concern.
Through the chair to Councilmember Clark-Murray, I'll defer to Ms. Hunter on this one.
Good morning, Public Works, Renee Hunter. I'm not sure who does the description on the agenda, but in the package that we submit to the Mayor's Budget Review Committee, and eventually that gets filed through Legislative Services, we always include a real estate number. We also always include a map, which also includes a real estate number. Whether or not that makes it into the draft of the actual ordinance language, I'm not quite sure. It hasn't been a requirement in the past because, not to get too much into the weeds, but the best description is going to be the legal description because RE numbers, real estate numbers can actually change. So although we do include real estate numbers in our legislation, we also include a legal description so we don't have to worry about changes in description of the property being closed. And I'm here for any additional questions.
Through the chair to Ms. Hunter, thank you so much for that. So just in comment, Mr. Nooney, make sure that you look at or read the legislation, and that's where you will find the real estate number. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Yep. Councilmember Johnson.
I was going to add to my colleague, Mrs. Clark-Murray, Mr. Chair, for Mr. Nooney and anybody else, it's important that you don't just look at the agenda. Go to Legistar. That's why we have it. We spend a lot of money to ensure that we can make sure that all of the records for the city are there. I go through them copiously before coming here, so that way this short title is short for a reason. But the maps, as Ms. Hunter said, and the agenda numbers and the real estate numbers, all of that stuff's already contained there. That keeps the efficiency moving. Thanks, Mr. Chair, and thank you for your question, Mr. Nooney.
Thank you, Councilmember Johnson. No one else in the queue. Open ballot. Record your vote.
Mr. Chair, I have recorded that you closed the public hearing. I did not hear a motion and a second on this. I could be wrong, but
I do think I forgot that step. I gavelled out of the. I need a motion and a second. Got a motion and a second on the bill. No one in queue. Open the ballot. Record your vote. I was just relieved Mr. Nooney was done. I think that was.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
By our actions, we passed 2025-0688. Item 5, 2025-0692. Can I get a motion? Second. Got a motion second on the bill. Mr. Boylan, do you have anything you want to say?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just real quick, I handed out to each of you 2 pieces of paper, one of which is a map of the area of Livingston Road in Old St. Augustine, the intersection where this right turn lane is supposed to go. Through the infinite wisdom of our LRZ committee a couple years ago and then the council thereafter, we approved 80 townhomes within a stone's throw of 1,200 students in 2 charter schools and 1 private school on a twisted road. So and to put the lipstick on the pig, they've decided to add a right turn lane that's going to solve all the problems that this is going to create. So no hard feelings here. I'm just did want to share that. Frankly, all this does at this point in time is codifies the commitment of the developer for $85,000 of $1.4 million it's going to cost to put this right turn lane in. I think there's going to be a subsequent bill, as I recall, Mr. Chair, that for the appropriation of funds through the CIP for the balance. But this really just sets up the opportunity for the mayor's office to sign off on a contract to getting the commitment of Lennar to put forward the $85,000. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Councilmember Boylan. And that is my understanding. This is simply to allow Lennar to give us money for now. There will be a separate piece of legislation on the project down the road. No one in the queue. Open the ballot, record your vote.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
By our actions, we have approved 2025-0692. Item 6, 2025-0711. Can I get a motion on the amendment? Got a motion and a second on the amendment. May you please explain it, Mr. Linsky?
Through the chair to the committee, the amendment designates the Office of Sports and Entertainment as the contract manager.
Thank you. All those in favor of the amendment, please say aye. Any opposed, say nay. The amendment passes. I got a motion and a second on the bill as amended. I have no one in the queue. Open the ballot. Record your vote.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
By our actions, we passed 2025-0711. Remaining items are on second. I read those at the beginning of the meeting. Does anybody from the committee have anything else before we adjourn? Okay, we are adjourned.